we start, let me ask you some questions. First, what is your intention for using color? Second, what will be the reception by your audience? And last, how will you develop your ability to output your vision? We don't see things in black and white only. Color colors our lives, right? In this clip, we are not going to talk about how color works or color psychology, nor give you a lecture on color theory, as this is for another video. In this one, we'll focus on finding answers to the question, when using color, what are the elements we'll have to consider to achieve the perfect overall color emotional impact? Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are, welcome. I am Thomas de Bruyne, lead designer at EMC, a international floral education program. In this clip, I will talk about what we have to take into account when using color. Let me tell you a story. One day in the early years of my career, I was invited to decorate the stage of Miss Belgium competition, a beauty pageant. I was so honored to be invited and I was excited, thrilled and passionate about the project. So I was determined to make this beyond my skills, to really push myself to impress. My task was to give the show a floral garden grandeur fitting the royal, beautiful casino atmosphere. So I challenged myself not only design-wise, but color-wise as well. I made a color palette made of very complex combinations. It was oh so beautiful. I used flowering plants to give the backstage that abundant garden look. The selection of the right plants and its colors was a true challenge. I even went personally to the growers to select and pick the perfect color plants. The job went well and we finished in time the day before as we agreed with the organization. I have to say the organization was blown away and they were so happy with the results. And then, as taken of thanks and appreciation, I was invited to sit at a table to watch the show. I was proud. I was happy and excited, and I was waiting for that moment the curtains would open. So ready to enjoy the result of my work, to witness that moment, you know? Well, when finally the curtains went down, what I saw was a floral backstage lightened with blue, green and red color spots. It was devastated to see that elegance gone, the effort and the knowledge I've invested as if I was a kind of a color sommelier, it was totally wasted. That was the moment I decided to study and to learn how to deal with color in combination with light. It's all about having the control, not only of your floral design or your floral installation, it's about having the control of how the audience perceives it and how you deal with it during your creative process. Well, let us define color. The definition is simple. Color is produced when light is striking an object and is reflected back to the eye. Yet, color itself is complex. Color can sway thinking, can change action and cause reactions. It can irritate or soothe your eyes, raise your blood pressure or suppress your appetite. As florists, we belong to the visual art. So always keep in mind that color is the strongest visual language we have on this planet. By the way, did you know that the Venetian art around 1500s gained its fame as they were one of the first to use color in their arts? They considered giving primacy to color rather than line. Let's start. We have four elements that influence color, or better said, used to influence the right color, matching the right overall emotional impact we want to achieve. They are light source, object, sight, and brain. First, we have light source. Lighting affects color, meaning that projected light has a big influence on how we perceive color. This is why in our EMC reference book, all the photos were taken with a white background. A white background emphasizes clarity and removes visual obstacles. We love the simplicity as well and the minimalistic feeling it projects. Second, we have the object. Of course, if there is no object, there is nothing to see. Yet the form and textures determine how the object is perceived. For those of you who are event designers, please do keep in mind that the color of your floral installation is about the overall color outcome. And colors are to be experienced, not to be looked at. Here is a perfect example. Did you know that if you look at the surface of the Phalaenopsis petals, holding them in the right light at the right angle, you can actually see the gold glitters on them. It is just stunning. But I have to say, they have to be fresh. I will not get into that now, as you will learn more about it in one of our upcoming videos. Third, we have sight. Your eye has tiny cells that can receive waves of light and translate them into one of the three primary colors. These three colors can then be combined to create the entire visual spectrum of light as we see it. There are three different types of color vision. First, if you have a normal color vision, it means you can see up to 1 million distinct shades of color. Second, if you have a degree of color blindness, it means you have difficulties to see red-green colors or blue-yellow colors. And last are the people who are colorblind, meaning blind people or people seeing only achromatic colors. Achromatic means blacks, grays, and whites, right? A fun fact to know is that children tend to be attracted to the bright block colors on the color wheel rather than pastels or muted blends. On the other hand, elderly people have difficulties differentiating cold colors. As vision yellows with age, eyes are less able to distinguish the differences between blues and greens. So try to avoid using a color palette that is predominantly blue, green, or another cold color when designing for senior clientele. Warm colors, on the other hand, like reds and yellows, are a more suitable option. And last, but certainly not least, the brain. The human eye and brain together translate light into color. Light receptors within the eye transmit messages to the brain, which produce the familiar sensations of color. It is known that artists and interior designers have long believed that color can dramatically affect moods, feelings, and emotions. Let me show you a visual. Some people will see a sky, while others imagine themselves on the sea. I heard students say they become relaxed or they felt a mood of openness when they think about blue. Even the color savvy people came up with the Pantone color of the year 2020, classic blue. My advice is to always keep in mind that colors are personal. As an extra, we provided a document to download with the 4 elements and also a link to test your eyes regarding your degree of colorblindness. I encourage you to use these 4 elements the right way and to be able to create the right color outcome with a perfect visual satisfaction. Put passion in using the knowledge you have and unleash your creativity.